Today, we're going to be talking about Monster Legends Season 3 of Alpine Era. There's been a lot that has been leaked over the past couple weeks, and today a lot of it changed. And since we have only 3 days left to the season, I think I'll be talking about all the new monsters that are confirmed to be coming, either confirmed, leaked, or coming in another season. So here are, I'm going to be going off of what I see here that's in my search. Be sure to join so you can get these leaks before it's seen in Monster Legends. These monsters seen in Monster Legends. This might be a long video, and stay tuned until the end because we have a good announcement coming. Anyways, let's go on with our first monster, Albinissa. She's a light and fire supporter with damage increase, round hater, taunt hater, and hardened hater. Hardened hater and taunt hater sound good, and a light and fire supporter also sounds pretty fun because it's light meta. Her hatred applies 25% 33 damage percent boosts. I said that wrong, but Condemnation, murder, fire damage to all enemies, double damage to all enemies. Peer pressure applies taunt hater and a random element hater to one ally. Peer pressure sounds like it's going to be a good move. Rampant bullying, triple damage, and hardened hater. That also sounds like it's going to be a really good move. I'd probably put that over peer pressure if I'm being honest. Rumor monger, sounds mid, but it's an AoE damage boost to all allies. He gets burned. No, it doesn't get burned. Never mind. Scorn deals fire damage, applies a random element hater to all allies. That sounds like a really good thing. I'd put that on me personally as like my damage move. Unease deals low fire damage on enemies. Would not put that on because there's a better move with Rumor Monger. Vicious Whispers, double damage to one ally. Wouldn't put that on. And her ult, Mob Mentality, does moderate light damage, applies fear to all enemies, removes negative stat effects from all enemies, and does allies, and applies triple damage to all allies for one turn. I'm pretty sure Albinissa is gonna be the breeding monster, like the breeding event monster for this, no, for next season, season 3. It's a really good ult, and I think that she'll be good, like a really good monster. Not really good, but you know, it's gonna be a good monster, fun monster to play with. Next we have Kalita. This is the confirmed monster to be for the free version, the free monster of the Golden Pass. It's a fire metal attacker with stun, burn, ignite, and daze. Base surge deals moderate fire damage and applies burn. Deals massive metal damage to one enemy. I like Fuse eruption. That sounds good. Explosion eruption deals massive fire damage to one enemy. I feel like this is gonna be like a current day version of Magmore, but better, like really better. Because of these two moves, I only do damage, nothing else. Fisher applies Ignite, nah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put that on my monster. Fumarole deals moderate metal damage and applies Daze to all enemies. I feel like I'd run that for my AoE if I don't see anything better. Uh, Magma Chamber deals moderate fire damage and applies Burn and Ignite to one enemy. That sounds like a good one to apply Sasscaster. Noxious Pume applies stun twice to one enemy. You probably wouldn't run that unless you want to run a stun. Unless you want to run a stun. And then this one is the last one. I feel like this is really good AoE. It's called Sector Collapse. Right here. Deals moderate metal damage and applies stun and daze, so you won't even need that Noxious Plume one. It's an AoE stun and daze, and I feel like I'd be running that too. The ult is Seismic Swarm, deals moderate fire damage and applies Mega Stun and Fire Weakness to all enemies. I like this ult, but it just kind of feels copy and paste, you know, Mega, like a denial and just damage. Magkara. Thing about Magkara is, and I'll be getting to this. It's been changing recently. The list of like, the monsters that are gonna be next season with like the maze and stuff like that. The maze, I mean, the marathon stuff like that. And apparently, Magkara is supposed to be marathon. Marathon. Uh, yeah, the marathon monster. But I'm not sure that. I'll show you guys later. Magkar, Magic, and Metal Attacker with extra turn, Curse, Bleed, and Burn skills. I love extra turn attackers. Hopefully it's not mid. Basalt deals moderate fire damage to all enemies. Alright, that's good AoE, but I feel like I want a status caster. Carbon Dioxide applies Burn, Curse, and Bleed to one enemy. I guess that'd be good for like status caster move. Ferromagnesia deals low metal damage to one enemy. That would not be running that. Lava Burst deals low magic damage to one enemy, gives itself one extra turn. I'd rather run an extra turn move that does low damage. I'd probably put that in because I like extra turns. Obsidian deals low magic damage to one enemy. Probably won't be running that. Applies burn hair to itself and gives one extra turn. That sounds good. If you ever put burn on enemy, which you would be doing with Utilities favor below sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide deals moderate magic damage and applies curse to one enemy. Sounds good. Probably won't run that though. And the favor one, I'm not gonna try to pronounce that again. Deals moderate fire damage. Burn to one enemy. Would put that and the extra hater, and that would give a lot of damage. Then then we're gonna get to the other monsters here. These leaked movesets were older, but for the bounty hunt, these new trait, torture resistance, damage and percentages and reduced, like burning, poisoned. That sounds really cool. And the new multiplayer monster, the free multiplayer monster, Mortal Ming. I'll show you guys the moveset later, I'm pretty sure, but you can get it through the pass and just regular multiplayer. Um, he's a magic light controller with corruption and stamina leak skills. I like the elements. I haven't seen magic and light monster in a while. Evolving trait: rank 0 True Vision, rank 1 Immune Nightmares, and rank 3 Status Caster. Applies stamina leak to all enemies at the start of battle. Everything. These are mid. True Vision and Status Caster sounds good, but like I don't want that to be my evolving trait. Like that just kind of sounds mid. These are the descriptions for Kalita and Magkara. You want to read that? Sounds pretty cool. And coming in season 3, we're gonna have a summer card flip. You know how there's a Valentine card flip and stuff like that, but we're gonna have a summer card flip, and it's gonna have Seashell Guard, Tailwave, and Robotito. If you're like me and have Tailwave and Robotito, I'd probably go with Seashell Guard. But if you don't have any of these monsters, I would go and get Robotito, because Tailwave is a pure support that isn't that good from Blossom Era, and Robotito is an extra turner support, and he's honestly pretty good for Galactic Era. Seashell Guard is kind of mid, but if you can get whatever one you want. I just don't really like the monsters this time around. And then we have the Ancestor monster is coming in the I'm pretty sure either ancestral tokens or just the ancestor not ancestor tokens, but with the cards, the tokens summoning. His ancestor virtues are double damage and triple damage, which is crazy. He's gonna be doing a ton of damage. He's gonna be like the next probably call. He is going to be the next Griffania Iron Wings. But to get his ancestor is really bad because he has to get 7 tortures. Luckily though, his trait gives him torture resistance. He's an earth and fire tank, and he has taunts and torture resistance. Let's go through the moves. Deals minor fire damage, applies night to all enemies. That's okay. AOE. I'm just gonna. You can just read that one yourself. Bloodthirsty deals. I feel like Social Point. What are you doing, man? How you gonna put that in this game, bro? And then Bloodthirsty deals minor fire damage. It applies burn to one enemy. Deadly Combo. I like the name. It deals very heavy earth damage to one enemy. Bleed to itself and then all enemies. That's good because it gives you the tortures that you would need for Virtue, and it's a good AoE. I mean, it's a good AoE bleed and it does a lot of damage. And Rage Berserker applies trade protection to itself, applies damage mirror to itself, requires cooldown. Damage mirror and trade protection sounds really good, so they can't take away your taunt. Flames of War deals moderate fire damage and applies burn to all enemies. Alright, that's a little worse. That's a little worse than Deadly Combo. Hit Me applies 50% damage mirror to itself. You don't really need that if you have damage mirror and trade protection with the other one. The base boss deals heavy earth damage. I guess you can run that. Farewell Scars deals moderate earth damage and applies bleed to all enemies, requires cooldown. Word of Chaos applies burn to itself, heals itself by 30, and applies 50% damage mirror to itself. That sounds really good because then you can get another torture and you get to heal yourself and get yourself a damage mirror too. That's a great move. Probably be putting that on. And World of Enemies deals heavy earth damage to all enemies. I'd probably run that as my AoE. His ult removes all tortures from himself and deals 15 damage to all enemies per effect removed. This seems like it could be a really good ult. because you need the 7 tortures to get your virtue, and then you're gonna get triple damage and double damage, which is gonna add more onto that, and then that ultra's gonna go crazy if they don't fix that. Anyways, we have the following trait for Albanissa, which is rank 0 Dodger, that's good. Rank 1 Abomination, not good, because Serpentex is meta and light meta. Abomination modders just are going to get absolutely destroyed. But they add Dodger, I guess, but Pierce also goes through that. Rank 3 Statuscaster, Area Random Elemental Hater. That sounds pretty cool. Albanessa proves my point of how good it sounds, how good the monster sounds. This is just about Bounty Hunt. I'm gonna go through it. Following trait for Kalita: immune to fear, immune to ignite and burning, area burn. Immune to fear is good, but everything else isn't. It's just about Alpine era monsters and a upcoming monster apparently Dumbane, just magic. That monster might not get added like other leaked monsters. And to Mosklin, another the actual gold pass monster. I'm pretty sure. Metal nature controller with area dodge, stun, and reverse healing. This sounds pretty cool. Blood sample, moderate metal damage to one enemy, applies reverse healing and bleed. Not hearing, healing. Um, Bloody Sting deals low metal damage and applies bleed to all enemies. Deadly Stings deals low nature damage and applies stun to all enemies twice. Pretty good. All enemies, by the way. Twice. Applies poison to all enemies too. This sounds like a really good monster so far. Not like really, really. Feel like a good monster, cool little monster. Mechanical Mosquito deals low metal damage and applies reverse healing to one enemy. Okay, I guess I'll run that, but blood sample is mischievous creature, low nature damage, applies poison to one enemy. Again, blood sample sounds better. Swarmlin applies reverse healing to all enemies, applies poison to all enemies twice, heals all enemies by 20 for some reason. I don't think I'll be running this because it heals all enemies. Sounds stupid. Insect Flutter applies area dodge to itself and immunity to poison to all enemies. And all allies, not all enemies. But you would already have area dodge, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And Precise Needle applies area dodge and precision to itself. You can just do Insect Flutter. You don't have to do Precise Needle. You don't need precision. And the ult is removes positive status effects from all enemies, disables trait on all enemies, and applies stun and reverse heal on all enemies, which sounds actually pretty cool. This ult sounds really good. Counter Ascension, there's gonna be one for Caloric Rage Skin. Panels Conjuring, you can get Caloric Rage Skin and the other 2 monsters that are gonna be in the seasonal gate, which I'll get to later. Maze Island, there's gonna be Calida cells in the maze. And Caloric Rage Skin's traits are removes torture resistance, immune to stun, taunt, and self-protect trait. And if you have him rank 5, he's going to be one of the best monsters ever. By the way, this is how Mortal Ming looks, I guess, in the game. It looks like a pretty cool monster. How Summer Car Flip's going to look. And I don't know who this monster is right here. I don't think they talked about him yet. Grummy description. Oh, by the way, when I was talking to you guys, before, we've gone to here now. It used to be the checklist used to be different for season 3, but now they have 2 new monsters, and instead of Sir Lanceflow for the challenge, it's Gremmy now. We're gonna get to Gremmy, Bruisord, and Gobzerker because they didn't have any of those 3 in there before. They had Coborg, but they didn't have Bruisord or anyone else. By the way, here are the Legends Pass and Caloric Rage Skin descriptions. If you want to, you can look at that. Don't really care though. Gremmy description, you can look at that. And Gremmy is a Thunder support with stamina and damage boost skills. Kind of sounds like Palflow a little bit. Low Thunder damage and shock to all enemies. Cars cooldown. Alright. Cool sunglasses. I think this is Gremmy actually. Yeah, I think this monster up here is Gremmy. Sounds like it. Cool sunglasses applies damage boost to one enemy. I think there's gonna be a better one. Cool Wave gives 50% of stamina to all allies. If you have 0 stamina, what happens then? Applies damage boost to all allies. That sounds good. Applies, well, I went a little too far. Applies dual damage to all allies. Higher cooldown. Alright, Energizing Tonic. Shocking Wave deals low damage to all, thunder damage to all enemies. Applies Drown, Shock, and Stamina Leak. That's a really good move. I'll be wearing that. Server Canary. This is definitely the monster we saw in the challenge thing. Deals low thunder damage and applies shock to one enemy. Surfeit removes 50% of stamina to one enemy and gives itself an extra turn, and also gives drowned. I'm gonna be running that. That's an extra turn or two. Grammy sounds like a really cool monster. Sounds better than Powflow. Tan muscles applies double damage and stamina regeneration to one ally, gives itself one extra turn. Yeah, I'll be running that too. Ultimate Beach Party. Deals minor special damage. Special damage, that's kind of cool. To all enemies. Deals shock and electrify to all enemies. That's good for extra turner, I guess. And while I was talking to you guys before, Bruiser and Gobzerker are here now. And they already have some monsters, by the way, leaked for Season 4. And I'll show you just a little bit from that. By the way, this is a long video, I'm sorry about that, but there's been a lot of leaks. Bruiser, Dark and Fire Sport with Anticipation trait, and 12 line skills. Um, Ancient Prophecy deals low fire damage to all enemies, applies 12 blind to all enemies, removes 50% stamina from all enemies. Sounds like a really good AoE skill. Ancient Spell deals moderate fire damage to one enemy, applies 12 blind, removes 100% stamina. This sounds like a better Monk Flame Rog in my opinion. Curse of the Orcs applies Curse to one ally, removes positive stat effects from all enemies, really good AoE, and applies Nightmares to all enemies, really good AoE. Dark Cursor deals low fire damage to all enemies, applies minor blind. Alright, that's kind of worse. Misfortune applies a random negative stat effect to all enemies. That's a really good move. There's a lot of really good AoE moves. I still haven't seen a good one for one enemy. Does minor dark damage to one enemy, applies nightmares to one enemy. Alright, I guess that's good. Decent. This is an extra turner. It says sacrifice to flames, applies burn to an ally, applies a random negative stat effect to all enemies, and gives one extra turn to itself. An AoE that gives an extra turn, but also gives burn to one ally. I'll be running that probably. Torment of Crows deals low dark damage to all enemies, applies nightmares to all enemies, applies stamina to all enemies. Not as good as the other ones listed above. The ultimate is Forbidden Bane. Disables traits on all enemies, applies Toll Blind to all enemies, applies a random negative stat effect to all enemies, and removes 100% stamina for all enemies. I'm just going to take them just straight out of the game where you can just win basically all the time. Like this, there's no way they're gonna be able to come back from this unless maybe they have area dodge. And then finally, Gobzerker, Earth and Dark Attacker with Torture Immunity trait and Torture skills. This seems like a good monster, and so does the other one up here. I forgot what his name was. Blizzard. Gobzerker deals Accelerated Goblin. Deals heavy dark damage to one enemy, gives itself one extra turn. Extra turner, that sounds good. Deals moderate earth damage and applies bleed to all enemies. Requires cooldown. Bloody Rage applies damage boost and bleed to all allies. My bleed to all allies, that sucks. Applies immunity to control to itself, that sounds good, but not the bleed. Fearsome Creature applies deals moderate dark damage to one enemy and applies nightmares to one enemy. This is an extra turn move, Flashy Terror, deals moderate dark damage to one enemy, applies nightmares to all allies, no, all enemies twice, and gives itself one extra turn. That sounds like a good extra turn move. Be running that with Accelerated Goblin. Grey Oak deals moderate damage to one enemy. Sal Panic deals moderate dark damage and applies nightmares to all enemies. Sounds kind of mid compared to the ones we've seen before. And last one, World of Madness, deals moderate damage to all enemies. Applies bleed to all allies. Applies bleed to all enemies. So I guess it's a good AoE, but it applies bleed. The ultimate is By the Orcs, removes positive stat effects from all enemies, deals very heavy dark damage, and applies nightmare and stun to all enemies. It's worse than Bruiser, but it still sounds like a cool attacker, except for all the bleed to your allies. And they already have monsters from Alpine Era Season 4. They leaked some. Surlands Flow is actually going to be the free multiplayer, and Jellimer is also going to be one. Jellimer used to be the one that they originally had for multiplayer, Season 3. All these other ones, Mago, don't know. And last thing I have to say, what I was talking about before, with Matt Cara being the marathon person, I don't think that's the case because Monster Legends gave out their weekly calendar, I'm pretty sure, and it says Crack Attack Marathon and showing a completely new monster, so I don't believe that. So yeah, I think it's going to be actually Crack Attack, and Crack Attack looks cool. That's what we have for this video. I'm sorry it's a really long video, and by the way, join our Discord so you can see this information early. We have a really big video coming soon, guys, and that's basically what I have to say. this new season of Alpine Era sounds like a really cool season. I hope a lot of people will be playing because it's summer break, and it just sounds really cool. That's it for the video. See you guys next time. Peace.